This is QTV News and I am Jarra Soma. Thank you for joining us. First, the headlines. The CRC should institute strong laws on citizenship, say the people of Jareng. The Gambia Federation of the Disabled meets to discuss issues related to the draft constitution. The deaf and hard of hearing in Jarra Soma applaud the inclusion of a sign language in the draft constitution. The Ministry of Health commemorates World No Tobacco Day with the theme Tobacco and Lung Health. Those are our top stories, and now the news in detail. Stay with us. The people of Jareng have made their submissions to the Constitutional Review Commission, recommending the inclusion of strong laws on citizenship, and Sumana Isonyasi has the rest of that.
In their submissions to the Commission, residents of Jareng made strong recommendations for the institution of laws to empower Gambians, especially those engaged in business and agriculture. But what featured most prominently during the consultation exercise was a desire for laws to make it difficult for those who do not meet the criteria to be given citizenship to acquire national documents, as has allegedly been the case. For Alaji Jao, foreigners cannot be allowed to dominate the country's most important sectors. This for me is the most important law. We must empower our citizens. I have lived abroad for many years and I have seen how foreigners have been treated in other countries. But here in Gambia, foreigners control our economy, they own houses, big businesses, they own everything and enjoy everything. And worst of all, they easily acquire citizenship, some through fraudulent means. I am not saying it's bad, but we need to think about this. Alaji Lamin Bayo, a resident of Jareng, says laws on citizenship should be carefully looked at. It saddens me when I think of it, but honestly, we need to seriously review our laws on citizenship. It's easy to acquire citizenship in the Gambia. That should change. Also, I want this constitution to empower our women and strengthen religious tolerance. Seni Sise, a resident of Nyamina, says he wants laws on citizenship and the criteria for president to be reviewed. Not only must we review those provisions, but we should also develop laws that will empower our citizens. And the criteria for presidency is one area I am interested in. It shouldn't be that easy. Also, I call on the CRC to make laws that will encourage women to participate in politics. Speaking at the end of the exercise, the CRC chairman, Justice General Suleiman Jallo, gave an assurance that their recommendations will be considered. Ansumana Isonyasi for QTV News.
A two-day retreat to discuss issues related to the new draft constitution was organized by the Gambia Federation of the Disabled. Our reporter Momodu Gajaga attended the event and this is his report.
The forum will look at the rights of persons with disability in the draft constitution and make recommendations before the document is put to a referendum. These people include those with visual impairments, physical challenges and the hard of hearing. Their fundamental rights as outlined in the draft constitution are what concern them most. Although the 1997 constitution guarantees the rights of the disabled, such as the right to education, health and employment, however, according to many, some of these fundamental rights are far from being achieved.
I will proudly say that Section 56 of the Constitution, the new draft Constitution, recognize and mention the fundamental rights of persons with disabilities. We also have the rights of the marginalized group, as in Section 67, and other rights as well. But even though that we realize that these rights are mentioned in the new constitution, we feel that still is not enough. There are still other issues in relation to persons with disabilities that are left out or not mentioned. So we still want to review the constitution again and ensure that these rights and freedoms that are being left out this time around are being recognized and mentioned in the constitution.
To this day, discrimination against persons with disability in accessing public services such as transport, schools, workplaces, and information still exist. Even though these rights are provided for in the new draft constitution, in the new draft, there are many pressing concerns. Most buildings, toilets, and roads are not often accessible to physically challenged people and the visually impaired. Despite these challenges, Lamin Kuradabo, who is wheelchair-bound, got the education he needs and now works at the Social Security and Housing Finance Corporation.
With me, it's normal. Life is normal. Because, I was born as somebody who cannot walk. I can see, I can do, but I cannot walk. So, to me, walking is a disability. Yes. Because I see them as, I cannot do it. But sometimes what I can do, they cannot do. So I see somebody who is walking, I see him as a disabled. I see myself as able. That is my confidence. Because I started as somebody crawling on the ground. I used to walk with stick even before we get a wheelchair. I got my first wheelchair in 1974 when I was in primary 4, in Sukta Primary. So that's how I maneuver from primary school, high school, up to where I am now.
Gairo Lamin, treasurer of the Gambia Association for the Visually Impaired, GOVI, told QTV that as people living with visual impairment, they sometimes find it impossible to cross the roads or access public transport services.
Whenever we have our cane, we want to cross. Vehicles are drivers, especially drivers. They don't respect the canes, especially most of the cyclists also. Most of them, they do destroy our canes, And this cane, at least, is costing the minimum Gambian money. Currency is about $2,000. Imagine a poor person. How can he or she afford to buy such a cane for his or her mobility? So that one also has to be recommended in the Constitution, and we want to, if it is not there in this draft, we make sure it is there.
The draft constitution provides for representation of 2 disabled persons in the National Assembly. These individuals will be selected by the Federation of the Disabled and not the President. Mamudu Gajaga, QTV News.
The deaf and hard of hearing in Soma have expressed their delight at the inclusion of sign language in the draft constitution, and Sumana Isonyasi reports again.
Speaking through a sign language interpreter, Jason Kamara says he welcomes the inclusion of sign language in the draft constitution. This is a joyous moment for us. For the first time, we feel we are being recognized. I am personally hopeful for the future. What the CRC has done is highly appreciated. We are also part of society, but unfortunately, we are not given much recognition. So being recognized by this new constitution means a lot to us. Also speaking through a sign language interpreter, Bakari Sediba welcomed the inclusion of sign language in the draft. However, he says he wants persons with disabilities to be also given job opportunities. This is a milestone for us. It means so much to us. But I would like this constitution to make it a law that all public places and hospitals have sign language interpreters, because we find it difficult to communicate when we go to the hospital. Landing Sane is the chairman of Mansukongo Area Council. He recommended the inclusion of strong laws on tax. He adds that local governments should be empowered. Local governments play a major role in our development. They help central government in many ways. It is no secret that we rely on tax to be able to implement our projects and provide good services for our people. So I am recommending that we institute laws that will empower local governments. Ansumana Esonyasi for QTV News.
World No Tobacco Day was commemorated on Friday by the Ministry of Health in collaboration with World Health Organization. The theme for this year's event, Tobacco and Lung Health, focuses on the negative impact that tobacco has on people's lungs, from cancer to chronic respiratory disease. Aji Bintu Drame was there and she has in the report.
The commemoration of World No Tobacco Day also raises awareness of the harmful and deadly effects of tobacco use and second-hand smoking exposure. and also seeks to discourage the use of tobacco in any form. Speaking at the event, Commissioner Alhaji Kinte congratulated the Ministry of Health for signing the Tobacco Act and regulation. He adds that there is an ongoing sensitization about the dangers of tobacco and also for people to know that smoking in public is banned. Momodu Gassama says technical capacity is important to strengthen the drive to prohibit tobacco smoking.
This year is another World No Tobacco Day. It should have been on the 31st of May, but it doesn't matter. Whichever date you observe it, the day itself is usually on the 31st of May. But we are doing it this time around, it doesn't matter. All that is important is to create awareness, because that is the rationale behind this. Create awareness among different stakeholders so that they can take the right action to be able to protect the.
Mr. Gassama gives statistics of deaths from second-hand smoking.
The developing worlds were only consumers, most of them. Most of them were consumers. But those who are producing, who are making the cigarettes or the tobacco are in the developed world. So what is this telling us? This is telling us that people who are using the tobacco are even more than those who are producing. Because if you look at now, the world, in the whole world, about 1.1 billion smokers. There are about 1.1 billion smokers. If I know my arithmetic well, a billion is 1,000 million. So which means that over 1,000 million people in the world are smoking, are using tobacco. Smoking is one part of it. And 80% of these are in the developing countries. This is serious.
Lamin Sonko, representative from RAID, urges the public facility owners such as bars, restaurant and hotel owners to abide by the law and discourage public smoking.
There shouldn't be any maslaha syndromes in enforcing this law, because law is a law. We've gone around the country, as said by the previous speaker, that we've engaged many restaurant owners, many bars owners, and we understand that there is going to be more law resistance from them. You cannot longer sell single sticks of tobacco cigarettes. The law prohibits those that import tobacco products that comes into the country that are less than a pack. And in our law, when we said less than a pack, we said less than 20 sticks in a pack. So which means the first tens and the orders are not important. They should not come to the country.
Every year, on 31st May, the World Health Organization and global partners celebrate World No Tobacco Day. The campaign serves as a call to action, advocating for effective policies to reduce tobacco consumption and engaging stakeholders across multiple sectors in the fight for tobacco control. According to a WHO report, tobacco smoking is the primary cause of lung cancer, responsible for over 2/3 of lung cancer deaths globally. Ajibintu Drame, QTV News.
We will go with a short commercial break, and when we return, we will hear about what the latest Human Development Report has to say in a conference in the Gambia, and the news of a free course on German language where the first batch of students have just graduated. Join us after the break for these and other stories.
10 years. For 10 years, we have worked to deliver world-class products and services. For 10 years, we have cultivated a reputation of excellence and quality. For 10 years, we have strived to support our people and our culture. With a history of quality behind us and a present-day drive to be the best, we continue to forge ahead towards a future of growth. As a quality network you trust, we have worked to ensure stability, innovation, and distinction. QCell, a decade of innovation, a lifetime of trust.
A blood donor conference was organized by the National Blood Transfusion Unit in collaboration with the Directorate of Health Promotion and Education under the Ministry of Health. Ma'am Jarra Soma has the rest of that.
The event serves as a platform to discuss and share ideas on the problems the Gambia is facing in terms of blood donation. Every year, thousands of people rely on receiving donated blood and blood products to stay alive. An adequate supply of blood is one of the biggest challenges for hospitals, health centers, and clinics. In the Gambia, the number of people donating blood is minimal, and for the few who do it, it is mostly to be used for family members. Ignatius Balde, the director of National Public Health Laboratories, says that they are still struggling with the availability of donated blood in hospitals.
Yes, we are screening our blood, but are we screening our bloods enough? No. And why are we not screening our bloods enough? Because we do not have the capacity to do that. So we are just virtually putting people's lives at risk instead of saving them, by not being able to comprehensively provide a screening facility to ensure that this is done.
Dr. Mustafa Jinjai, medical officer in gynecology, says there are different groups of human blood types, and the most difficult to get is the type O, which can only be replaced with type O. He further explains the high risk of people losing their lives due to inadequate testing equipment.
So this patient have clotting problem. Even if you insert a needle, the bleeding, you cannot stop it. Sometimes you need to get that baby out, because when they have this severe preeclampsia, which everything originated, the only therapy is you have to remove the placenta. But removing the placenta, they already developed BIC. Now, you only need these spark red cells. That's the only thing you need to improve the clotting factors. So, not in every place, people have the means to be able to separate these spark red cells from the whole blood component. So, if a patient is in this situation and we don't have it, the chance of losing the patient in every minute is going up.
People receive blood to replace blood lost during delivery, surgery, injury, accidents, amongst other reasons. Mr. Alpha Jallo, a representative of the World Health Organization, states the importance of blood transfusion.
Health-related Sustainable Development Goal 3.8, which seeks to ensure healthy lives and promote well-being for all ages. Indeed, blood transfusion contributes to reducing maternal mortality and the deaths of newborns and children under 5.
Many hospitals and health centers utilize donated blood to save lives. Sometimes, because of the stigma in society, some people are not willing to donate blood. The forum is meant to sensitize and create awareness to eradicate people's perception on donating blood to save lives. Reporting for QTV News, I am Ma'am Jarra Soma.
The first batch of 19 students have graduated from the school House of Hope after completing a 3-month free German language courses on various levels. The course is intended for Gambians planning to travel or integrate in Germany.
The 19 students did an intensive 3-month German language course and are now equipped with the basics of the language. Counselor on Legal Migration, Arkangela Raneri Krasniki, explained what each side gained from the training.
All of you were actually part of this experience that I made here. I actually started working in a field that until that point has been totally new to me. But along with you who actually have been learning German here, I learned my consultation and a lot of things here as well. So as your knowledge grew, my knowledge grew at the same time.
The German language teacher, Daniela Willman, expressed delight and described the students as fast learners. She further reiterated the importance of the course.
It was such a nice time, and it was also a hard time. We worked a lot, the students worked a lot, they learned a lot, sometimes they struggled, but now in the end everyone is happy. Every language you know is important for your career. Even if you want to migrate to Germany, if you want to stay here, it's always better to speak more languages, to know the culture, to have better job opportunities, and then also to migrate if you have the chance.
Daifatu Bojang and Mustafa Esminte were satisfied after successfully completing the course.
Well, I think it's very important to learn a foreign language because no one knows where you're gonna end with. Even if you don't travel, you can find a better job in the tourism sector. That, as we know, Gambia is a smiling coast. Many tourists come to Gambia that are not only speaking English-speaking people. So for that being the case, that's why I've chosen to contribute in this Dutch course.
I've completed this 3-month intensive course. I can communicate in German and then, say what I want to say when it comes to communicating with someone in this language.
House of Hope is located in Birkama, West Coast region, and the German language courses are free for Gambians. For QTV News, I am Aisha Jan.
Before we end this news bulletin, let's recap our main headlines. The CRC should institute strong laws on citizenship, say the people of Jareng. The Gambia Federation of the Disabled meets to discuss issues related to the draft constitution. The deaf and hard of hearing in Jarra Soma applaud the inclusion of a sign language in the draft constitution. The Ministry of Health commemorates World No Tobacco Day with the theme Tobacco and Lung Health. Well, that is all we have for you in this edition of QTV News. Join us tomorrow, same time for more news. Have a good weekend.